Bleem. Now, that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
I was not expecting to hear it again.
Time. If you're not familiar with Bleem, Bleem was the commercial PlayStation emulator product.
Yes.
You would go to a store, like how I purchased my electronic boutique at the mall, and buy in a bright yellow box. I think I had the rectangular box. That there was like 2 different boxes, I think. And they got their asses sued off them by Sony. But Bleem, and Norm, the gaming historian, our pal, did a great video about Bleem. But they just didn't have the money to fight back against Sony. That's what it came down to. They were in the right when it came to the emulator. They were not using Sony's intellectual property. They were not using...
they weren't using their BIOS.
The BIOS. It was a software emulator, right? Pure software emulator. What Sony was trying to go after Bleem for was, this is ridiculous, it was fair use. Them using Sony in PlayStation games to market the product on the box and things like that.
Right.
Which is like, if I'm marketing a fucking PlayStation emulator, how else am I supposed to market it? So I think if they went through the court process, I can't see a jury or judge being like, no, you went too far using screenshots. I think that would have been fair.
This was the height. This was the height of emulation being a bad, dirty word, where everyone thought it was illegal in every usage of
99.
This is where Nintendo's current day understanding of or at least
they've come a little bit,
or at least public understanding of emulators still resides. Is in 1999. Bleem was basically, you just didn't need to buy a PlayStation. I'm sure it could have been hacked, but Bleem required you to use the actual discs. You installed,
they had their own copy protection, yes.
Yeah, you installed Bleem onto your computer, and then you actually put the PlayStation discs into your computer and played them that way. So it wasn't like it was trying to, get around, paying for games. It was literally just getting around the need for an actual PlayStation itself. You could use your computer instead. Bleem also went on to do Bleem Cast, which was short-lived. Basically, it allowed you to play certain PlayStation games on your Dreamcast. I believe they got like an upscaling, they got like a smoothing filter.
You got
or something.
your early DirectX stuff. That's how. I used that. So there was early emulator benefits. Oh, by the way, they did beat Sony in court, even on the screenshots, but they were just out of money at that point.
Gotcha.
They just bled them dry, unfortunately.
So I remember Gran Turismo 2, I think, and Metal Gear Solid were the big ones for Bleem Cast. And then I think that years later, or maybe even not years later, I think people found a way to get a number of other titles running on the Dreamcast.
Oh, wow, even after the fact. I use it for... I love Driver. So I used it for Driver. I fucking love Driver. And I used it for Fire Pro G, obviously, when I had it.
Oh, nice.
I used it for Tekken at the time. Because, let's just say, I might have bought a couple of those. I might have ISO'd a couple of those at the time. We're talking 2000. Statute of limitations gone. Don't sue me there. But no, I bought Fire Pro G for sure. Absolutely. But it was sort of like a watershed moment, because this was the first time that we saw, okay, we have an emulator of a console that's still on the shelves and still popular and is like current gen. And you don't have to spend $200 or $250 on the console. I was not going to do that to play 2 games. Absolutely was not. But I would spend $40, whatever Bleem cost, in order to do it. And that's what I did. And it worked fine.
Yep.
It worked fine. So, Bleem we have not heard of. It's been in the dustbin of video game history until now again, Ian.
Yeah. So, the Bleem-powered marketplace is coming. Okay. This is Pico Interactive. King, really, of buying up
dormant ROMs or unreleased game ROMs that never came out and re-release them. Hey, yes. I appreciate the hustle. I respect the hustle.
Yep.
They have cartridges that you can buy for their games. They're on the I think they have the Evercade. They have the mini multi-game packs and things like that.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
They have the mini game. Is Evercade the new one, the new cartridge-based one that people?
Yeah, we don't want to bring it up, but it seems to be doing okay, and it's come out during the pandemic, as opposed to other consoles that could be blaming COVID for not coming out.
So people seem to like that, but this is like the ultimate, in my mind, of just buying up an old trademark to buy up an old trademark and release something under the name of it. So Bleem is coming back as a digital marketplace. We will be making titles available on Bleem Marketplace that we would never release on Steam or Good Old Games. Some of these releases will be available exclusively on our new storefront. Bleem Powered represents commercial preservation of older titles from now defunct platforms. Releases made available through the storefront will come as complete downloads. Each release will include the necessary software to make the game run as intended. So what I think Bleem is, this iteration, if you can even call it that, of Bleem, this Bleem branded storefront, is it's going to be like Good Old Games does with their old DOS releases.
Sure.
It's going to come packaged with the emulator, all wrapped up,
all
so
the
that
wrapper.
you can download it,
Click it and play it.
and start.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to see is basically the ROMs for the NES games, Genesis, Super Nintendo games, etc., that they've been releasing under Pico Interactive. I think that's what we're going to get.
Or even maybe other companies that are doing this, like Mega Catmice. Okay, sell it on your site.
Sure.
You know.
So it's interesting. I think the idea is interesting itself. Create a storefront where, you know, home brewers and people who are making games for these retro systems can make a PC release for those who don't want to mess around with emulators and stuff like that. But I think the choosing of Bleem is just very, very strange.
The intent. This is from the press release, which is on the website here. By the way, Pico, remember, bought out Game Gavel and the Retro Magazine stuff from Mike Kennedy back in 2017.
Yes.
I don't think that went anywhere. The intent of the Bleem Powered storefront is to be the go-to location for gamers wanting that console feel on PC. Well, that's a contradiction in terms. Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, Sega, Genesis, the Game Boy line, TurboGrafx 16, PS1, and more will be supported. Additional platforms will be supported on an as-needed basis. Third-party publishers will be able to use a custom wrapper through publisher partnerships. This will allow them to use the wrapper on their own Bleem-powered releases or when publishing on Steam or Good Old Games. So basically means, so you can use that same wrapper to go on Steam. What? I don't understand that part. This wrapper is not required for publishers to publish game of the Bleem. What?
The wrapper meaning I think that it's going to come, like, you can publish the Bleem version on Steam so that it comes with, like, the emulator.
Oh, so it'll say, like, Bleem when it loads up or what have you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I respect the hustle here. This wrapper is not required for publishers to publish game. Okay, so that's a typo on your. Sorry, you have a typo on your press release here. Publish games on. It says of the Bleem Marketplace. Okay, I think I get what they're saying. Making things easier for gamers is our goal. The Bleem Powered storefront is just an extension of that intent. Okay, when you say Bleem Powered, what I think in my head is that you are running the Bleem emulator. That's the first thing that pops in my head. If
Sure.
it's Bleem Powered, you are running a PlayStation game on the Bleem emulator. That's what Bleem Powered to me means. Now you're trying to make it mean it's a
Something.
emulator wrapper on our digital storefront. That's I don't see the connection, Ian. I don't see the connection anymore.
I see a loose connection. Emulation, running.
What's
emulators.
the one commercial emulator we can think of besides fucking Magic Engine for the TurboGrafx?
Right.
That's an awesome emulator. Bleem. That's it.
Yep.
Bleem is that number one commercial emulator. They still sell Magic Engine?
Yeah.
That's a great emulator. They don't update because I think it's perfect just about. Sorry. Going on.
Yeah, Magic Engine still exists. You can still pay for it, and I think they run like a giveaway every month still where they give away like a random PC Engine game.
That's like a 15, 16-year-old emulator. Anyway, sorry.
Magic Engine existed when
Before that?
I was in high school.
So like 2000.
Yeah. No, I'm talking like late 90s.
I didn't know. I must discover it then. I don't know when I discovered it.
I think I played my first emulated PC Engine game in like 90. It was Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, and I think it was 98 or 99.
I'm going to go to the Wikia right now.
If not earlier, because I think I might have even still been with my first girlfriend.
It's not on there. Oh, you can buy it on Steam. Desktop Magic Engine. No, that's something else. Sorry. I'm just trying to find the year, and I can't. Now it's going to bother me. All right, going on. I'll just say 20 years. A little bit more. Little nesticle area.
1997.
Holy shit. That's like nesticle.
All page content is 97 to 2019 Magic Engine. Yeah, it was.
At least there was an earlier version.
Yeah, I remember it being around.
Good on you, Magic Engine team. Back to Bleem, though.
Back to Bleem.
Is there a market for a one-stop shop for like these homebrew and like hey, I bought the rights to this prototype, or hopefully did, or just bought the, or just bought the cartridge and ripped the ROM and I was trying to sell it. Is there a one-stop shop marketplace to buy this stuff legitimately? I don't know, because a lot of the appeal of the homebrew market is buying another physical item, media, still in the present day
that you can use on your old system.
And
I think a lot of the people who might be interested in doing it on their computer already probably have the emulators downloaded and the know-how. So again, it's one of those things where like I look at it and I go, I get it, but I understand it, but what's the actual market?
That's what we're getting to with a lot of this nostalgia. These are nostalgia traps in a way.
That's
right?
one of the largest problems, I think, with any sort of market like this. It doesn't just have to be retro games, but anything where there's a lot of enthusiasts. You start trying to sell stuff that you come up with all these ideas, but you're starting to try to sell stuff that who are you selling it to? And just because you can doesn't mean you should. Okay.
And the press release, it says the Bleem Power storefront is not a software download, so it's not like like Steam or Good Old Games or Epic Games.
So it's a website.
It says only a website. So then you're, God, I can't.
It's buying up a name and then finding a reason to use that name.
Power isn't even the front end. It's now just how we're branding our website.
Yes,
for your downloads.
It's a branded download.
Okay.
It's a branded website that contains downloads wrapped up with emulators for these games.
Intellectual property owners will see an extremely competitive revenue split when publishing on the Bleem Powered marketplace. In an unprecedented mood, Pico Interactive Games will be made available in a manner that gamers can use their ROM file with their flash cards or emulators of their choice. Okay, well now I got a problem. If I have these games, so now you're basically telling everyone potentially to pirate my game easily, because now you're just downloading the ROM, and now you can just give people can do that anyway when you're selling a ROM directly, but you're almost encouraging it. So they're working on making the digital games compatible with Good Old Games Galaxy launcher. Well, there you go. So bring them in the launcher and just turn them on, and there you go. Okay. I have nothing else to add here.
Nope.
Good luck, Pico Interactive. Godspeed on the Bleem marketplace.
You crazy stallion.
Well, it got us talking about it. So I mean, we wouldn't talk about it if they just named it, something generic like the Pico store.